Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women of Dance. I am your host, Sharonne Vinokurov, and I'm so excited to sit down with this week's guest. She's a dear friend, an amazing talent. There's so much to talk about that we're just going to dive right in. She's ready. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my incredible guest, Desiree Godsell. Here she is.
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
hello. I'm so excited to be here. Let me take my glasses off.
I'm so excited to have you on.
I know I'm excited to be here and to talk dance, women in dance.
That's right, girl. That's right. And you are one of the best. You have no idea how many people messaged me and told me how excited they were about this episode. Like when they
Really?
heard that you were going to be on, all these messages like, I love her. She's my favorite. She's so talented. I
Aw,
want to be her. All the guys want to dance with you. All the girls want to move like you. So we're going to get into all the deets.
that is very flattering to hear that.
So we're going to start the way we always do. I want to give everybody a background on you, your
Okay.
upbringing, and how your dance life began.
Okay. So I am born and raised in Houston, Texas. I'm not Dominican. I guess I always have to say that because that is like the only question people ask me nowadays. But yes, I grew up in Houston, Texas. I have very mixed ancestry. I actually just found out, I like did my ancestry.com and I was like 2% of everything. So
Nice.
yeah, it was really interesting. But I guess at a young age, my mom put me in dance class. I was like definitely the source of entertainment. When I was, like a toddler growing up, she's like, okay, dance. And then I dance around and she's like, okay, she's really into this. She really loves this. And my mom grew up dancing. So I entered dance class, elementary school, but I went to like a kind of like a Dolly Dinkle school that we call them. That's where it's like all about the recital.
Yep.
You don't learn very much technique. It's all about the show.
Yep.
And so that's like where I started. And then I went to middle school for dance. But then also at the same time, I was like really into like theater camps and musical theater. Then I went to middle school for dance and gymnastics. Also heavy into musical theater in middle school.
Okay. Did you do any musicals?
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you do?
I think my favorite role was Bonnie in Anything Goes.
Oh,
I did
love that
42nd
show.
Street. Yeah. I, you know what? I actually think that me being a part of like, or having like some kind of musical theater background really helped develop like a showmanship.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, and it, that just goes back to like everything you do, you might not do it as a career, but it'll help you in some way, along your journey. And so then that was middle school. And so when I was in middle school, I didn't take dance like really outside of school so much because I was just like so busy with stuff in middle school. And also my mom, like legit, my mom couldn't probably afford it. So she was like, okay, you just gonna be dancing to school. And then when I went to high school, it was the same thing. I was like super involved in like everything in high school. And I went to the High School for the Performing and Visual Arts in Houston, Texas, which I'm very proud of because it has a lot of really, really amazing people to come out of that school and really great talent. And so I'm just happy to be amongst them. And when I was in high school, I really started to develop like a love for modern dance. I studied Graham there, and Lamone was really like calling me. And so then I graduated and left to go to school in Philadelphia, to go to the University of the Arts in Philly, where I was a modern major, and I graduated from there. And just to go back a little bit, my mom, when I was growing up, we used to dance together, and she would take me to like this place. If anybody's from Houston, they know Elvia's, right? And I feel like I was one of the first people, like younger people, to go there. I was going there with my mom, but then like my friends started going there because there was like underage drinking happening there. But
Mm.
I don't want to shut them down. That was in the past. But yeah, so that's where I was like first exposed to social dancing. So we danced a lot of, you know, bachata, merengue, cumbia there. Salsa was really on one. If anybody did like a double turn, I was like, oh my God, they're amazing. And but then also my other side, my dad's whole side is from Louisiana. And so they dance like a lot of zydeco. So I don't know if people are familiar with that. It's a music and a dance.
Okay.
Creole Cajun. If you ever go to like New Orleans or, you know, any city, or city, there's only about like one city, but like, you know, the country in Louisiana, if anybody's familiar with trail rides or from East Texas, you know all about Zydeco. And it's very similar to, I guess you could say, like a bachata or a cumbia. So,
Okay.
anyway, so I say all that to say, when I went to college in Philly, I just like got so into like, you know, my, you know, dance classes and these student showcases, and then the teacher showcases, and just like dancing in the community, that I didn't really dance as much. I wasn't a part of the Latin dancing there as much.
Okay.
Also because I didn't really have friends that were in it. So sometimes if you don't have like somebody to go with or somebody pushing you to, you don't really know where to go. And then I was underage. So it wasn't like I do remember this, trying to get into Brazil's, and I wasn't able to because I didn't have like a good fake ID. And so then I just didn't go until my senior year, when I started going out more. And then I tore my ACL. It was like a whole thing where everybody else was auditioning, and I didn't get a chance to audition for anything because I like barely was able to graduate because I tore my ACL my senior year in college. But
That's
I'm so fortunate.
That's so bad.
Oh my God, it was really bad. But I'm really fortunate that I did so much at that school that they were like, okay, well, we gonna let you keep going and graduate. Because a lot of people just had to like, you know, take another semester or whatever.
Yeah.
So I started really, so my senior year, I started going out all the time, meeting people. And some of the people that I was meeting were like going to New York to go social dance.
Okay.
And my plan was already to go to New York to pursue a career in dance. So I was like, okay, boom. And so I remember with Delphina, with Big George, like some people just going up, with Danielle, going up to New York, going to like Jimmy's, going to Cache, and just being like, whoa, this is so cool. And then starting to dance on two. Fast forward, I moved to New York in pursuit of my modern dance career. Actually, no, that was before then. Or maybe it was once I moved, I went to New York Congress for the first time.
Okay.
It was my first time really seeing people performing like Latin dance, right?
That was your first Congress ever, was the New York Congress?
It was my first Congress.
Okay.
Right. Actually, I take that back because Q and P came to my school and did with Barbara Craddock, and they set a piece on you know, some students, and I was very grateful and honored to be a part of that performance. And so I kind of was like, oh, okay, this is a thing. But my school never like encouraged that as a pathway to study or to pursue a career in
that was never an option in college if you were a teenager.
Right? It was like, you're either going to go for the most part. And this, I mean, I love my school, so I'm not, dissing it, but it was like, you're going to do like commercial work. Or if you're a modern dancer, you went into Philadelphia, you went into Ailey, you went into Koresh, you went into these local companies, or you went to a school in New York, a company in New York, and you did something.
Yep.
A modern something, or a ballet company or something like that. But so that's what I was trying to do. And then when I went to New York, I was like, oh my God, like people are dancing. This is crazy. And they're supposed to be professional dancers. Wow. And kind of, I was like a little side eye because I was like, they're professional dancers. I just was thinking that everybody was up there. It was I didn't think that it was a recital in the way that you're like, okay, these are people, students, whatever. Yeah. So then after that, I also was involved in this this one kind of theatrical performance of it was like mambo, a mambo. I can't even pronounce it now. Mambo Pera. It was like a production at Hostos. So anyway, I met some people there, and then I just was always social dancing in New York. And then this is kind of like how my two worlds started to collide. I got a call from my girlfriend who was like, this girl's looking for somebody to choreograph and dance for her for this tour for MIA. Are you down? And I was like, yeah. So I auditioned for that. And that was my audition to work with Santi Gold, the recording artist. And so I have been with her, dancing with her for like the past, it's been longer than 10 years. I've come off of it the last 5 years because I've been so busy with Alex. And then at the same time, I met this guy, Edwin, who now dances. I think he's now in Florida, but he was in DC. And he was part of Sapphire for a while. And we met and we're like, okay, you know what? Yes, let's do something. I'm going to teach you some jazz stuff. You teach me some mambo stuff, and let's get this going. Because I also I was like one of those lone social dancers. And I had friends in the scene. I was, friends with Pete and Simone and all this Rudy and all these people. But it wasn't like I was a part of a school.
Yeah.
Right. And so sometimes like you have those school pipelines where you're like, okay, this is the way that you're progressing, and then this is how you go. But I was a free agent. Okay. I was just out here dancing, and people were like, oh, okay, just go. But it wasn't like anybody was trying to be like, okay, you come with me and blah, blah, blah. And also I'm 5'8". I got big bones. I'm not some little girl out here who's gonna be doing triple sow cows in the air and stuff like that. So, maybe.
What are you trying to say about short people? No, I'm kidding.
Listen, well, we can talk about that. No, but I just to say that maybe I wasn't the first option to fit into people's look of their company. Whatever. Yeah. So then I met this guy, Edwin, and he's like, oh girl, yes, blah, blah, blah. We met up one time. Edwin, I love you, but this is the truth. We met up one time, and then he was like, oh, let's go take Eddie Torres' class. And I was like, okay, I'm down. I never took his class before. Like, I'd heard about Eddie Torres, but I never was like, I just didn't know nothing. I didn't know. I just knew I was going out on these days. I was like, oh, he's good when I see him and stuff like this. And so then I go and we take his class, and Eddie's like, okay. He's like, oh, in the middle of class, he's like, what's your name? And I was like, oh, Desiree. And he's like, okay. And then at the end of class, he was like, come. He's like, you're dancing with this guy? And I was like, oh, well, we're trying to do something like, and he's like, okay, well, come take my class next week. So that next week, me and Edwin were supposed to have rehearsal. He was like, oh, Desiree, my girlfriend, my papers, my rent, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, here we go. And so then I was like, I'm going to go take Eddie's class. I need some forward progression here.
Yeah.
And so I took his class, and like legit, this is one of those things where like stars align and it's your right time to go and like God has a plan for you.
Absolutely.
I went and he was like, "Hey, Desiree," and I was like, "He remembers my name." Like, oh my God. And at the end of class, he's like, "Do you have your passport?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, would you like to be my partner?" I was like, "What?" Gang. I fell out. I was like, yeah. And legit, that was when Melissa had just left to go dance with Adolfo. Maria was going through something at the time. Like there was everybody that he was partners with was like checked out. And it was just like, he needed somebody. He was like, "You." And I was like, "Who, me?" "Yeah." "Oh, okay. Ah. And so I tell that story just because, I mean, it's legit how that went, but how really from nowhere did I get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it just was crazy because I did not have any formal training in salsa.
Before that
Mom,
happened.
no lady styling, no nothing. No. So what I was doing was really like, as a dancer, like repeating steps. I was like, okay, this is the step, and this is the style of the step that you're doing, Eddie. So I'm copying you. Like, so there was just, I look back at some of those things and I'm like, oh, if I could do it all over again, right? You know, you would dance so different. But yeah, so that was a direct plug in into the world of Afro Latin dance. But like I said, at the same time, I was on tour with Santi Gold. And so one thing, she was like loose. There was a couple gigs I was doing with Eddie. And then like after maybe like half a year, her stuff like picked up, like I was gone like 3 weeks out of the month or something like this.
Oh, wow.
Like, so I was really, because the design of her show was that me and this other girl who were like backup singer dancers were like always with her. Like every show she did, we were there too. So it was a lot of work. And so he ended up, I think Melissa came back on and I just picked up with more of the other work. So every time I came back in town, I would be like, okay, every time I would leave Santi, the touring world of like, you know, whatever, I would come back and, you know, go out social dancing. And, you know, by then I was starting to meet more people who were like in companies and professionally doing it. And then that's when I met Grisel and I was a part of her company. And then later on, I was still going back and touring and I'd come back off. And then Alex was like, oh, I met Alex like in Puerto Rico for like the Congress or something. And Isma was like, "You guys should be partners." And I was like, "Oh, this is good. We dance really well together." So we kind of like got together to do some work, like one show kind of thing. But Alex was like super into his corporate job. He was like super into corporate job. And then he was, you know, dancing as a hobby with Caribbean Soul. And I was like full-time dancer from the gate. So I'm like, okay, well, this is that, you know. That's it. That's our first show. Oh my gosh.
Nailed it. All right.
Wow. Yeah. You know what? I only think we did this like maybe 3 times. I also did like 2 episodes of Made. And one of the episodes that I did, I was like a coach. We performed this routine in Boston.
I remember that episode of Made.
Yeah, I did one with a girl in Virginia and then one with a girl in Kansas City. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at how skinny Alex was.
I know.
Yes, that was back. But then yeah, so we met, and then I ended up being like the alternate on the bachata team because he was you know, he lost his dance partner. She was, you know, did something else. And then I just kind of stayed on, and then we started doing salsa then, and then we went to yeah, that's pretty much it. And everybody was like, why aren't you and Alex doing more together? And then so Alex quit his job, and then we were like A&D after that. Oh, and I also, one other big thing that I was really proud of that I was doing in New York, was I was a producer of this multimedia dance concert series called The Pearl. And that went for like maybe 4 years. And we were sponsored by the Brooklyn Arts Council. And that was really amazing. We turned out a lot of performances. It was like quarterly. Yeah, a lot of really talented people came through there.
Wow.
So that's a little bit about my journey. And then I've done a lot of really cool stuff in between there, but that's like the sketch of how I have come to the place I'm at today.
I love it.
Have that. Oh my gosh.
Talk to me about this experience working with Andy. This is one of 2 performances I have of the 2 of you guys together.
First of all, shout out to all of Andy's partners, because I just feel privileged to even have been, and shout out to Lyric Cruz. Yes, boo, that's me. Lyric Cruz, because first of all, he's an amazing person, amazing dancer, choreography, but his partners are all bomb. Let's talk about Candy Mena. Let's talk about Grisel Ponce. Let's talk about Kimberly Rivera. Shouts out to all of them, because Christina, like, he works with some very talented women. So I'm just very honored to be in that spectrum. And this is, again, like, you know, we're friends. So he was like, hey, I need somebody to do this gig with 567. So we were never like a partnership, but I filled in for him a couple of times. The one time that I'm like, oh my gosh, Andy, I love you forever, was he had a gig in West Africa, in Cote d'Ivoire. And so we were able to go there, and that was amazing. And, you know, anytime you get to dance in the motherland, it's a good trip. So
when was that trip?
What?
When was that trip?
Dates I'm not good with. I think maybe like 2010. No, 2000, maybe like 12. Something like that. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Something around there. It was definitely before I started full time with Alex, which was like 2015.
Was Lyric at the time in New York still? Where was he? Like, how are you guys coordinating? Because I know he's not always in New York. Right.
I think he was in Chicago. I think this is before his big LA move.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. He was New York, but he was just like bouncing around a little bit, touring. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my God, there's so many things here that you're pulling up, because I also had a little, well, not little. It was these two beautiful women, Amanda and Deidre. And I was like, listen, we're all trained dancers. Let's do something together. I wanted to do this collective, the GDC, Godsell Dance Collective.
Mm-hmm.
Basically did this like one routine. Actually, we did 2 routines, but they're amazing dancers. And I feel like a little bit like touch and go with this, because I never really feel like we fulfilled everything. That's me dancing on Nelson. I saw for us, because they're so talented, and you know, the potential for really doing some amazing like fusion pieces was there. But again, it's like when you're on tour and you're coming back and come and go, you know, it's hard.
Would you ever bring it back?
Oh, I mean, Amanda's now doing amazing things in California. And Deidre, I'm not sure if she's dancing so much in the Latin dance scene. She was really, she was at Balmair for a long time.
Yes, competing with Christian.
She was like a Knicks dancer too, I think. But I would definitely bring this piece back, or try to choreograph something again. Because I mean, the thing is that at the end of the day, when as a choreographer or, as a dancer, like if I have this vocabulary and I want to like, I have something to say, I have, pieces that I want to make, I need people who can fulfill that,
Absolutely.
And so to find people who, now I feel like it's people are training, people are going to take dance classes elsewhere, but I feel like at the time when I was doing this, I didn't know so many crossover dancers who were like, who knew how to social dance, who were familiar with like port de bras, were familiar with like, what do I mean by like, just anything. They were right there. So I was very fortunate to be able to work with them.
What do you have a preference in terms of technique or flavor? Like, what is more important, do you think, in terms of training dancers?
Well, I think the whole thing is like, what is your end result? And we talk about this a lot. And I've gotten this question this past year a lot in terms of social dancing. If you're a social dancer and you're training to be a social dancer, what technique do you need to social dance? And like, what other styles, are you trying to incorporate to be able to do that? Now, in the world of like salsa or even bachata, if you're talking about training for competitions, maybe that's different. But if you're just trying to be a social dancer, that's really different. And with the competitions too, people add in more dance techniques. You'll see splits and tricks. Ha ha ha. Me and Melanie learned this routine maybe like the day before. And we kind of like barged in on this like guy's routine. This was actually Alex barged into, but this was just Jose and Isma. And oh my gosh, Melanie got so much flack from Tamara for wearing flat shoes. She was like, oh, Melanie, for real? No, but that shouts out to Melanie Castillo. She's one of my favorite dancers. I love her so much.
She's going to be on the show too, so.
Yes, well, so you collecting all the women's. But to go back to your question, I think it's just like, what are you trying to do? What do you want to look like? And then what you want to know, which once you know what you want to look like, that or what moves you want to do, then you need to find the technique to be able to support that movement, right? If you're out here doing splits and kicks and, you know what I'm saying, like lifts and stuff, there's a technique that you do to support all of that. So you have to find that. If you are a ballet modern dancer and you think you're just going to come into the world of salsa and like just 5, 6, 7, it doesn't really work like that, because there is a technique for that as well, and you have to learn that. It's so crazy because I'm very reluctant to even say that sometimes, because everybody has their own style, and there is, to me, this is dance, and there is no right or wrong when it comes to dance, right? There is, hey, I like this, it looks good to me, but maybe the next person is like, I don't like that, that doesn't look good to me. And this all is coming from the street. All of these things are coming from the street. So to say that you have to, this is another Caribbean soul routine, to say that you have to dance this way or that way is like, I think it's very problematic. Yeah, so I think it just depends on what it is we're specifically talking about.
So we've seen you dancing salsa. We saw that cha-cha routine just now with Caribbean soul. Now we're watching bachata. Do you have a preference of style?
No.
No.
I think it's really like whatever my partner does really well, I want to dance. Whatever the other person I'm dancing with does really well, or depending if the song is really good, I, my mood, stuff like that. But I mean, this is why I think my partnership with Alex is so successful, is that we really just love to dance. So, you could put us anywhere, the song comes on and we're like, oh, sound Billy back again, or whatever it is. It's like, whatever song it is, we're jamming to it. And you don't have to tell us to dance, because we want to dance. Like,
Yep.
we can't wait to dance. So I think it doesn't matter what I'm like not even starting to, I just was talking to Destiny just now. My hustle game this summer is going to be on and poppin'.
Yes.
I love hustle. Okay.
Yes. Welcome to the hustle world. Join us. It's so fun.
Yes. Listen, in New York, I mean, it's just amazing. The music is just so good. And then also this summer, my Zouk game is going to be popping. I was taking some privates with Charles, and he's really good. So I think I got like kind of like a good base that I could start like social dancing. But I love the freedom that Zouk has. Yes. Oh my gosh, she's listening. Yeah.
Yes, she is.
Hey.
Hey, girl.
She is amazing.
She
all
is.
these women that I've been dating are boss ass women.
I love her.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite peeps.
Yes. And then also, what else? Oh, I love Kizomba.
Yes.
And yeah, I like to dance.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing because, you're doing it for a living. So
that is very true. But, sometimes when you get off that plane from China, and you're like, oh, I just need a nap and a freaking, or you're in India and you like, I need some Pepto-Bismol. I mean, I don't know. This is another Caribbean soul routine. I miss dancing with people.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love the costumes you guys use for Caribbean soul. And I think we've noticed they're all so different. Who was in charge of the designs of the costumes? I'm curious.
Funny that you say that, because this costume I made.
Love it.
Yeah, but you see, Melanie is going to laugh so much if she ever listens to this, because I made this costume, but I think this one might still be together, but the other ones, they just be falling apart. So this was really like, we need something right now. Let me just figure out how to do it. And I am not a seamstress by any means, but I'm like, if you just put this side next to this side, and so right here, will it just make, and my husband all the time is like, Desiree, you need a pattern. I'm like, but just sew this right here real quick. Just come on. So anyway, but yes, I did these costumes.
Wait, did I hear that correctly? Did you just say you did those without patterns?
Oh yeah. If I had a pattern, they would have really turned out great.
They look amazing.
Yeah. No, this is like, yeah.
Who did the choreography for all these routines? Did you guys alternate it up? Or was it always Ishmael?
This is Ismael. Yeah. He was really responsible for the salsa. Well, this is his company. And shout out to Ismael Otero, because he is, to me, the OG million moves man. But again, talk about somebody who just collects talent, who just has an eye for attracting people and turning people out. Osmosis is a real thing, but and all of his dancers are individuals.
Yes.
They have their own sense of style, have their own personality on the dance floor, their own flavor. His sisters are amazing, Yesenia and Irene, the OGs in the game. Candy came for Caribbean soul. Grisel came from Caribbean soul. There's a long legacy of amazing dancers and talent. So again, when I was talking about being a part of a team or not being a part of a team, because I didn't know where I fit in because, I looked a certain way or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I never once felt, yes. Oh, I have a story about this routine, but I never once felt that I did not belong there. And you see how different we are. There goes him and Melanie, little ants next to me and Alex. And this is so funny because we took this routine to Spain for the Bachata Masters. And we actually, we went on stage, and you see these costumes. There's no stone on these. I think we got these online from Alibaba somewhere. Okay, we tucked in, we cut it, we tucked it in, so we made it a leotard. Like it just, we didn't have did we even have earrings on? I'm just, we were.
I see earrings. I see hoops.
Okay, we were just looking like whatever. Okay. And we took this to Spain, and everybody's like, you can't even see them on stage because they're so much bling on on their costumes and stuff. And everybody, their entrances are like, and 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. They have a whole choreography. We came on stage. We ended up going like the wrong way. It was a whole mess. And we just felt like it was so Sister Act. It was like, oh my gosh, look at them. Look, oh my God, they're doing like, freaking ESPN cheerleading competition things. We ain't got none of that. You haven't seen not one toss trick up in this whole thing. We might have done the splits like in 5 seconds here or something, but we just didn't have that in this routine. And when it came to this part in the routine, the whole audience was like, oh, because they started off being like, who are these people? Where are they? They look crazy. Like, who are this big guy and this black girl and whatever. Blah. But at the end, people were just like, whoa, 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 whoa. And the next year, all of these moves, like that move, the booty, this whole thing. Okay, I wasn't supposed to show you that I'm wearing.
No, it's cool. Keep going. You do you.
It was like so many moves from this routine were in everybody's routine, and everybody was using this song. We were like, okay, we see how it is. We see how it is.
Very popular after that.
It was very popular. And Esa Mujer, I feel like that was another one.
Oh my God, everybody used that song. It was like the La Malanga of the bachata world.
Yeah, it was everywhere. But I just go to say that like we came in the definite underdogs, the like, who are you? Why do you think you belong on this stage? And then people were like, oh, we see you're dancing, you're dancing bachata. And so, yeah, so for that, I think we ended up just winning like second place there because we didn't have no tricks. But it was definitely worth it to go and, share how we dance with the people in Europe.
This was bachata.
Mm-hmm. I think this is also the year that me and Alex competed. One of the only times we did that against like Fausto and Maria and who else? There was like some other dance couples there. I would be interested to find that. But yeah, so this was Esa Mujer, another very popular Caribbean soul routine. And I think this is also why people were like, when are you and Alex going to do something together? So, yeah.
Destiny wrote, yes, that fun feeling, free, authentic bachata.
Yeah,
I think that's what a lot of people are missing these days.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, there has to be a spectrum. And I think like at the time, there's always been people who have been dancing authentic, or closer to whatever people are calling traditional or bachata clásica, Dominican bachata. But I think when it came to showcasing it on stage, there was maybe not that many couples maybe at that time that you could feel like some kind of radiation of like, whoa, this is very clever how they piece this together. Like the choreography might have been a little bit like elevated, but still bachata, So, but shouts out to OGs that have been doing that for a long time. Darlin has been an OG in the scene, not just the bachata scene, the salsa scene for way long.
Shout out to Darlin. I doubt he's watching live, but
yes, there's so many people who were just like monsters, and it wasn't that Caribbean Soul was alone at all. For the
I
people
remember we competed against you guys in like one of the first bachata competitions in New York. Do you remember?
In New York, I think Melanie was there, and there was another girl, Charlie, I think did it. That competition.
We did it. It was 2 years. We did the first year when we went up against Caribbean Soul when we did Loco de Amor, and then there was a second time that it happened.
And the second time was it on that stage where we had the blue costumes just now? Okay, yeah. I don't even remember if we compete. Shit.
There were a couple of them. I remember that. That was fun going up head to head against you guys.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really not like a competition person because I'm like, this is so, you either like it or you don't, right? Because I feel like dance, and I know you've had a ton of competition people on the show. I was looking through the people you've had on. I was like, oh, okay, all competition people. But I feel like, and I've judged a lot of the competitions, right?
You have.
But the way that there is not like a standard pedagogy for these dances, it's like, I don't know.
Well, I did find some footage of you doing some non-salsa material. It wasn't that easy, but I found this solo,
oh no! Oh my gosh, girl, burn the videos.
No. Talk to me about solo work, because I know a lot of women find it very intimidating to do solos, and you make it look so freeing.
I think that, to be 100% honest with you, I don't think that I have difficulties performing solos. I think I have difficulties with self-discipline. And what do I mean by that? I like choreographing for myself is like very difficult. I could freestyle all day long, but then when I like try to do a set improv and I'm like, okay, I'll do this over here, but then freestyle that, it just ends up becoming one gigantic mess. So I was just telling myself this. I have to do a performance, a solo for Chicago Salsa Bachata Festival. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to ask somebody to do something for me because of that reason. And also to push and challenge myself, because I'm definitely like, oh, I won't go to the floor so that I don't have to get up, like, or I won't do this extra turn, which I probably could do just, to be safe and whatever. But it's really awesome to have, somebody to work with and to be like, hey, do this here, or maybe you should do this here, or you could do this really good. Why don't you bring that out and use some of that in this place or whatever. But I love performing and I don't mind being on the stage by myself. But I have difficulties with all of that, because really the more you feel comfortable with something is, to me, how many times you've rehearsed it.
Absolutely.
Right. And I was out there on a wing and a prayer, like 5, 6, 7.
It's funny that you mentioned that about like the choreographing your own solos, because I remember my first time ever at the Latin Cup, I came with a solo that I choreographed, and Lyra came up to me afterwards and said, "I can tell you choreographed it. You should have someone choreograph your next one because it'll push you more."
Yeah.
And I went, "That's really smart." So for my next solo, I brought in you and Anya to do
Yes,
it,
I remember.
and it was much better. And it was my first time dancing on two. But
well, girl. Yeah.
I called you and Anya. I was dancing on too. So
Yeah. I mean, and then there's just something to, because for sure, whatever anybody gives me, I'm going to always make it my own.
Of course.
Right. But, you know, I just definitely need help. And in general, I posted a video today. I took a private with Fari Feo in Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't like he was teaching me anything so much as just like vibing with me and giving me material. And he was just like, okay, do this next, do this. And I was like, yes, this is what I need. I need, you know, someone to push me. And, you know, because
that's you and Lance.
Yeah. As a dancer, I haven't stopped developing. Like I still need to keep dancing. I'm not there where I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm not going to take any classes anymore. I'm not going to train. I really need to. This whole past year it was a little difficult for me because this was supposed to be my comeback. 2020 was like, okay, I had a baby 2019, 2020. I'm going to be like, woo, in class everywhere. You're not going to be able to catch me. I'm going to be so good. I'm going to stretch every day. And then, girl.
Yep.
That Netflix was just calling me. And I just had to surrender. No, not Netflix, but it was great. I also got to spend time with my son, but my timeline didn't add up. But anyway, it doesn't matter because today is a new day and I can still do all of those things.
I mean, obviously with COVID and the fact that you were home, things have changed. I mean, you just said you got to spend way more time with your son. Yeah. But can you talk a little bit about trying to find the balance between dancer, mom, wife? Because I had Sonia on and we were talking about that, and like, you moms in the business give me hope that it's possible to have a kid in this industry, have a family, and like still be successful. So talk to me about that for you, what that's been like.
I was looking at friends like Grisel, who she had given birth maybe like 2 years before me. Tamara, Georgette, who were actually touring, right?
Yeah.
And making it work, because I think it's one thing to have like a dance studio at home. First of all, it's all a challenge. It's all a challenge, but to actually be away, it's like on another level. But children are just such a blessing that I can't imagine not doing it, or not having my son. But at this point, I think he's a vaccine. It is very difficult, but one thing that I'm just like so grateful for is that I have an amazing husband, and who is super supportive and, you know, knows that the dance is my career, but it's also my passion and it's my purpose. So he's like definitely 100% there for me when I need to lean on him, or he's like totally daddy daycare. So he's like watches our son when I go out of town. And yeah, but it is really hard to think about like what kind of sacrifices you have to make to be able to do or go away from your kid. I mean, in some ways, some people might look at it as like selfish, but then you can also look at it as, you know, my son will look at me and be like, my mom was incredible and my mom was able to achieve all of this and do all of this and you know, be an amazing artist. This is one that I just want to take back too.
What do you mean you want to take it back?
I improv this whole thing. I was like, that 5 seconds when you're like, okay, here we go. Here's the music. And then you just lose it all.
Uh-huh.
This is where I just lost it all, girl. Right around here. Around this 5, 6, 7 right there. Mm-hmm. And you know that with this dance floor here at Dance Sport is so iffy.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone had put some baby powder down, and I was like, why do you put baby powder down at Dance Sport? That floor is fast. Anyway,
I know. It's the worst.
It is. But and then don't let you have a wardrobe malfunction. That's when your brain really goes. And so wardrobe malfunction and you don't remember your choreography. Then, oh girl, you're gone.
But it's a solo, so nobody knows. You're not standing next to anybody to show that you're making it up as you go along.
Nobody knows, but it's me. It's personal accountability. It's me saying, Desiree, this is not your best. You're not presenting what you can really do. And in that way, Sharonne, I feel like I don't think that I've really ever put something forward, a solo, that I feel like is really my best work, that I could be like super, super proud of. And this is why I was going back to be like, I think that I really just want to ask somebody to help me with this, because and for a moment there, before I had my son, I was like, should I compete? Because I feel like maybe with the competition, I would push myself to do things that I never have done, or to just achieve some sort of not greatness, but feeling of fulfilling my potential,
Yeah.
But I was like, that was short-lived. I was like, nah.
I'm telling you, if a lot of women saw your name up on that list, they would probably cry and quit.
No.
Nope, I'm out. Not doing it. Not going up against her.
No, girl. Now these people who were in these competitions, I'm just like, kudos to you, because I could never. They're doing back walkovers right into some oh yeah or whatever. I'm like, that's a lot. Mm-hmm.
This is a collaboration piece I found of you and Danielle and Desiree.
Yes. I was like, let me get my best Desiree on here. We did this, when was it? The year that we came back. The year that we came back to Spain. Daniel, it's so crazy because I had a premonition. I was like, you know what? We should do something with them, Alex. And then 5 seconds later in New Jersey, Daniel was like, hey, let's do something together. And I was like, oh, he didn't say it in English, but I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And it was just really an honor at that time because, they were very successful. And anytime an artist wants to collaborate with you, it's really awesome. It was really awesome. So yeah, that was their part. So we got our whole sensual style on. And then after that, we taught them a little bit of the way that we like to dance. Yeah, but it was really cool I like doing things that are different. I don't want to always be doing the same thing. That's boring. So
there we go. They're going in.
Yeah. So anybody out there, you got some new stuff for me to do? Let's do it.
If there was any style that you could learn that you don't know yet, that you haven't experienced yet, what would it be?
Because I feel like I do a little bit of everything, but to do well, you're saying?
No, have you ever, there's style out there that you've never tried that you're like, I kind of want to try that.
Of social dance, of partner dance?
Any dance style.
Any dance.
Any dance style.
I've done a lot of different things, but I will say I'll cheat the question a little bit. For any social dance style that I would like to really learn and
Mhm.
really get good in is West Coast swing.
Oh, that one is so fun.
Yeah.
I need more West Coast swing in my life for sure.
Yeah. Because again, I feel like the freedom there is just like so vast,
Yes.
and I
I
love
think you would
that.
ace it too. You would crush West Coast swing because your musicality is so on point and you're such a free spirited dancer. I feel
Yeah.
like you would just own it.
And I like need for my partner to be on the same page with me as like, you're going to give me space, right? Yeah. Okay. So, so I want to be a West Coast swinger.
This was an extremely popular routine of yours and Alex's.
Yes.
Incredibly hype.
This was like our second routine that we did. And again, we were just like, let's do a merengue routine. That little dip thing, this here, that's like the most tricky thing that we did. And it's just all really dancing. And I just love it so much. People are really all the time are like, oh, merengue is boring. Oh, oh, we don't want to listen to merengue. But I'm like, it's only boring because you're dancing it like that. If you can dance a merengue with a good dancer, you see a couple dancing, and they're really getting down, you wouldn't say that because it's just so much fun. It's so fun. It's so playful, and you really have to move. You can't be here like stop.
There's no stopping.
There's no stopping. There's no
There's
stopping.
no stopping in merengue at all.
Yeah. I really love, one time we did this routine and in the middle we switched partners.
Really?
We switched leader follower and it was fun.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I knew that. I would have tried to find that specific video because that would have been awesome.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. I love it. You and Alex, you guys seem like brother and sister. Talk about the dynamic between the two of you after all these years.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of an odd couple. Like I say that just because, or a very yin yang situation where I am weak, he is strong, vice versa, and in the way of this, mostly, Alex comes from corporate backgrounds. He's got his stuff together. He is a very A-type personality. I am not. I'm so laissez-faire. And in that way, we definitely balance each other out. But like, again, what works the most about our partnership is that we both love what we do. And in that way, we're suited for it and we have the skill set for it. And again, when I was talking about somebody who I can be 50-50 with, right? We can really share in a partnership. And I just, again, feel like super blessed to have him in my life. He is a Dominican unicorn. He is the sweetest guy you know.
He is a sweetheart.
He's, he's just radiates love and super great guy. So again, I look at some of these other partnerships that my friends have, and I'm like, oh Lord, it's just a lot of them seem problematic. The machismo, I don't have that situation, thank God.
What advice can you give for those female dancers that are in those situations?
It is very difficult for me to tell somebody else what to do because, again, I have not been there. And also, when people really want to be, when they really want to dance, they're gonna do what they want to do to stay in it, right? They're like, oh, I love this company. I mean, there's so many companies in New York where I'm like, girl, you are still staying in this company and this director is treating y'all like that. Oh my goodness, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But who am I to shake the finger, because they love what they're doing. They love that choreography. They love the training with the people that they're training with. Or they love just dancing. And then they don't think that they'll be able to do that in another place. Right. And so I keep on saying to these people, I'm like, step out on faith, because you don't know what the future is going to hold for you. So maybe you'll find a better partner who is going to give you half of the money, right? Who is going to allow you to teach your lady styling classes, who is going to not exclude you from contracts, who's going to let you talk in the workshops. I mean, and this is crazy to say, let you.
I know.
Right? It's crazy to say that, right? But that is a situation that these guys are so dominant and it's so socially acceptable, if that's the way that it is, that women and these girls are just, they're out here pulling for crumbs, right? And that is problematic. But it's like a whole nother topic to talk about. Finding partners. It's hard enough to find a dance partner. So once you have found a dance partner that you have like a real good groove with, you're like, oh man, it just really sucks. Especially if like you want to compete and this guy wants to compete, or you're tall and there's not a lot of tall dancers that are out there for you to dance with, or the list goes on and on. So it is really difficult, but I say that you should never be in a situation where you feel neglected, mistreated, disrespected, mentally abused, right? Because we overlook that a lot as dancers, especially ones that are coming from more of the dance world, because that's crazy.
Yeah. The technical experience background dancers, the teachers.
Right. But yeah, I think that in 2021, you need to move on and find it. You can find it yourself. And there's so many different ways now that we can, people can find you. Social media is like a whole crazy monster that like was not really around like that when I was like coming up. Because if not, I would have just been putting myself on, showcasing myself, and then let somebody come to me and be like, oh, I need to dance with her, Like
how Eddie Torres did.
Right. Well, I put myself in that position. And that's another thing, is continue to put yourself in positions where you're going to just elevate your dance. You're going to network. You're going to, to be seen. Mm-hmm.
You have a class coming up, correct, that you're doing this Friday?
Yes, this Friday I'm teaching with Alex in New Jersey at Caribbean Soul. From 7 to 8:30. If you go to academicnetworkofdance.com, you can register for the class.
Fun. What else where can people follow you? Get your newest videos, your newest content. I know you've been blowing up TikTok and
I wish I was blowing up. TikTok is a whole nother monster. First of all, that is like,
it really is.
I'm like one focus. I'm like, okay, Instagram. Okay, I could do that. Facebook is too many notifications. I don't even know, girl. But you can find me Desiree Godsell on Instagram, Facebook, and me and Alex on Instagram at Alex and Desiree, on TikTok as well, Alex and Desiree. And if you want to take online classes with Alex and I, you can, or Alex or Desiree, you can go to academicnetworkofdance.com or alexanddesiree.com and take one of our classes.
Oh, girl, I could talk to you all day. There's so
I
much more we could
know.
dish on, but we are unfortunately running out of time. So before we wrap it up, one final question that I ask all my guests. If
Okay.
there was one piece of advice you could give to women in this industry, and I know that's a loaded question, but if there was one piece of advice you could give them, what would it be?
Do you, boo? There we go.
I kind of knew you were going to say that. I love that.
Yeah, do you. I mean, I think you should just be you unapologetically, authentically, bold and beautiful, how you want it. And, just for artists in general, if you continue to shine and present yourself, if the world wants you, they're gonna take you. So I say you just do you, because at the end of the day, you have to be happy. Who are you living with? Right? You're living with you inside of you. So you have to be happy with you, or else you're gonna go crazy. And then
Absolutely.
you're gonna spend years and years dealing with regrets. Oh, I wish I should have done this for myself. Oh, I
Mhm.
wish I should have done. No, do you? Boom. That's it.
I love it.
That's it.
I hope you were all paying attention. If you're watching, she dropped a lot of good knowledge. Write that down. You can rewind later, watch it again, take your notes. Desi, thank you so much for
Oh,
coming
thank
on and
you for
talking with
having
me today.
me.
It was such a pleasure. I love you. I cannot wait to see you again in person and feel your awesome, infectious energy and just give you a
Yes.
big hug.
Yes, thank you for having me. And shouts out to all of the women that have come and done this interview before. You all are amazing. The ones who are going to come after me, y'all are amazing. And thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, I'm super excited. And next week we have Serena Cuevas.
Ooh, she's a hot girl.
She is a hot girl. So we're going to talk all about dance and her career next week. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Sharonne Vinokurov, and thank you for watching Women of Dance. Have a good day.